What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of High Mythology, the show where I get higher than the bill for an hour to sit down with Dr. Sigmund Freud and work out my fucking problems. And we tell you guys silly stories from mythology and folklore. Tonight we are going to be getting into the most tragic tragedy to ever be tragic. The original motherfucker. Wait. The story of Oedipus and the cursed house of Thebes.
Ew.
Yeah. So if you know anything about Oedipus, you already know where this one is going, and it is not going to be.
And if you don't,
yeah,
you're in for a world.
you are in for a whole world. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess. Be prepared to take a nice long shower after this episode, because it may leave you feeling
that shit off
dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm showering after this. So. So without further ado, Kimbo, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
All right. So to really get into how things got royally fucked, we have to go back a few generations, to the time when Europa was carried off by the bull.
Oh, Europa.
Mm-hmm. Poor helpless Lady Europa.
Poor Europa.
Her father sent out all of her brothers to find and bring her back. One of the brothers' names was Catamus. And being smart, instead of going out in search of the bull, he went to the Oracle of Delphi.
As you do.
That's what smart people do.
Yeah. I like that idea, too, because it does sound like all of the other brothers were just like, I'm going east.
I'm going west.
I'm going west. He's like, I'm going to the fucking oracle that knows the answer to my question.
Yeah, she'll fucking know for sure.
She knows, yeah.
There, he was met by Apollo, who told him that instead of going out to do his father's bidding, he should settle his own country. Apollo says to him,
Screw your dad. You will come across a heifer. Follow her, until she passes out. And wherever she lies down, just wherever that is, just go ahead and build a city there.
Okay.
It'll be your city. It's all yours.
He did as Apollo said, and the city was founded and would be known as Thebes.
Thebes!
And the country would be named Boeotia. Boeotia.
Boeotia? Boeotia? Yeah. We've had trouble with that one in previous episodes, too. It's the old Boeotia thing, yeah.
It was named after the heifer.
Heifer?
That he followed.
Boeotia.
Catamus was no pushover. In order to found the city, he had to slay a dragon. And the ruffians that inhabited it.
Yeah,
so dragons just hanging out with all these fucking thugs and ruffians. Yeah. I'm thinking Tangled.
Yeah.
Where they're just singing a melody.
They're all just well, that's the thing, too. That's how they always say, he had to slay a dragon. Okay, that's logical. That makes sense. And the ruffians that inhabited the area, was he talking about bandits or poor people?
Yeah.
Did he just come and kick out a bunch of poor people and found a city there?
Just called them ruffians.
Get out! This is Thebes now, you asshole.
Ruffians.
Yeah.
He was a lucky man and had the favor of the gods. Athena herself helped him build the city, and the other gods treated him as a friend. His wife was Harmonia. The daughter of Ares and Aphrodite.
Yeah.
All of the gods came to their wedding, and it was a good old time.
Good old time.
Party.
Had a live band, everything.
Free beer on tap.
Yeah. They had some loot jams going off. Biggie
Joints
Smalls
were being passed
on the
around.
loot playing Give Me the Loot. Give me the loot, give me the loot.
Hephaestus personally made Harmonia a necklace that will come into play later in our story. Mm-hmm. They had 4 daughters and 1 son.
I realized something, too. Being the guy that wrote this, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. When I was reading, they really put that out as foreshadowing, so I thought that it was relevant, and I should let you guys know.
Okay. Thank you.
That necklace never once comes up again in the story.
Don't you love it when that happens? Yeah. You're like, I remember that necklace.
Yeah. They even make a point to say,
and
keep this in mind, for it will be important. No. Never again.
Sorry. They had 4 daughters and 1 son, and for a while it seemed like the gods would always smile on them. But anyone who knows the gods or anything about man this episode was named for knows that this was all about to end.
Yeah. They ain't gonna be smiling for long.
All their descendants would have some of the worst fates in Greek mythology. None more than Orpheus, his grandson.
Oedipus.
Oedipus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
And it was his, and I even fucked that up. It was his great grandson. But
Great grandson.
either way,
It's still fucked.
It's all still so fucked.
Before we get into him, let's talk about these bad fates. First up was their daughter Semele, who was the mother of Dionysus.
Yeah.
That's fucked. Because I know that story.
Yeah.
She says
She saw Zeus and
she saw Zeus in his full
Yeah.
godly glory, and
Yeah.
it killed her instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't see a god in
Yeah.
its true
You
form.
can't see him.
I'm assuming some Indiana Jones shit, like her face melted. No, she actually burst into fucking flame.
Oh, she burst into flame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She-
That's pretty much some Indiana Jones shit. Yeah.
And then, like, while she was pregnant, like, Zeus, like, ran in, pulled out the fucking baby, and then stuck it in his thigh. And finished the rest of the term in his
in
thigh.
his thigh. Oh,
It was weird.
That's very weird.
Also, Hera was not happy about it. She knew about it.
Yeah.
We'll get into that one another time. We'll get into that. So another daughter was Ino,
I know.
who you may remember from our Jason and the Argonauts episode.
Yeah.
If not, quick recap. She is the evil stepmother of the boy that was saved by the golden ram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she got pretty wicked there.
At some point after that, her husband went crazy, and then they killed their son.
Mhm.
After that, she jumped from a cliff into the sea while holding her dead son. So she later became a sea goddess, which will come up when we cover the Odyssey someday.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a big part of the Odyssey.
Yeah. After death, the gods were even resurrected her son.
Yeah.
So they did come around in the end
Yeah.
to help out just a little bit.
Yeah. They undick moved their dick move a little bit.
But they still didn't give a shit.
They still didn't give a shit. They're so fucking random and cruel in this story.
Mm-hmm. The other two daughters would suffer through their children. Agave was driven mad by Dionysus and thought her son was a lion's, and so she killed him.
Yeah.
That was fucked up, too.
That was pretty fucked up.
The other sister was the mother of...
Actaeon.
Actaeon, that's a name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was renowned as a fearless and great hunter. One day he was out hunting and found himself to be thirsty. He made his way to a little grotto where a stream turned into a pool.
A nice little drinking hole.
Unluckily for him, he had stumbled onto one of Artemis's favorite bathing holes.
Mm-hmm.
He looked up at her just as she took off her clothes. Which, not bad,
Yeah.
but it does end up being bad.
Yeah.
So.
It does end up being bad. Score! Oh, not a score. Yeah.
It was more likely that he was just sitting in the bushes creeping on her, really.
I mean, yeah. We probably definitely heard that story from the, other point of view. He just happened to see, like,
Nah, he was creeping.
he was hanging out in the bushes being a creep.
Just like Philatides.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Either way, she turned him into a deer, and the man, who had never known fear, bolted.
Mm-hmm.
His hunting hounds gave chase and eventually caught him and tore him to shreds.
Yeah.
His hounds.
His hounds. All of his faithful and
that's
loyal
sad.
hounds.
Couldn't smell him. He
No.
smelled like
Well,
deer.
because he turned into a deer.
I know,
yeah.
he smelled like a deer.
Yeah. And he ran.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he also turned into a bitch.
In their old age, Cadmus and Harmonia traveled about. Eventually, they came to a place called Illyria.
I think Ilaria.
Yeah, that's it. Where, for no reason, the gods turned them into serpents.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Total dick move.
They wanted to prove the point that punishment and suffering aren't just for the wicked. The innocent suffer just the same. Super fucked up.
Yeah, that's a way to... we know that. Do you remember what happened to our children and grandchildren? Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that the point was really driven through those. So
Yeah.
we're going to need you to be a snake now.
Yeah. But a point will carry on. Okay, so the whole thing's super fucked up, but it's a point that you will see carry over to the future generations. Which brings us to the next line of the shit shows. King Laius of Thebes, the grandson of Cadmus, He married a woman named Jocasta.
Jocasta.
And after they had a son, he went to the good old oracle to seek a prophecy.
Mm-hmm. As one does. Everyone's just hanging off the oracle's nuts in this one, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Everyone should.
Yeah, I mean, they should. She obviously knows what she's talking about. Yeah, she knows her business.
She warned him that he would one day die by the hand of his son. And he scoffed at this.
Scoff! Oh.
He was not about to be a slave to some prophecy. So he had his son taken out and left on top of a mountain, all by his lonesome.
Yeah. They do that a lot. They do that a lot.
If you don't want a kid, you just leave it outside.
Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do now that you have a kid? Put him on the mountain. Maybe
just leave him there.
Just leave him up there.
Then they decided that they would never have any more children. Boom! Prophecy beat.
Mm-hmm.
One day, many years later, Laius was out traveling when he got killed.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Word got back to Thebes that their king had been killed on the road by bandits. And they were sad as shit. But before they could go track down the bandits, the city came under siege by a monster called the Sphinx.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's also a sex position.
Yeah, called the Sphinx.
Also named after other things.
Yeah, and there's a Sphinxter also. Mm-hmm.
As I am sure most of you listening now know what a Sphinx is, but we're going to tell you anyway.
Yeah. So it's when you get with the one...
So this is a Greek Sphinx, not an Egyptian. Mm-hmm. Totally different hairdo.
Yeah. Complete different hairstyle. So just get that out of your head, you know.
So the Sphinx was a creature that was shaped like a winged lion with the head of a lady.
Lady? Oh, hey.
In the Greek myth, they allude the fact that the Sphinx was borrowed, saying that either Ares or Hera brought it from Africa to Greece.
Yeah. So they kind of clearly, you know,
it was on loan.
Even in the mythology, it's like
charge interest rates.
They know that they kind of bit that from the Egyptians. So
totally did.
Yeah.
She would ambush travelers and make them answer a riddle. Otherwise, she would kill them. Sometimes the stories say three riddles, and some say one, but never two. There's no
never
such
two.
thing as two.
Yeah, never two.
One day, a stranger showed up running from his own prophecy, and his name was Oedipus.
Oedipus.
He was the son of King Polybus of Corinth. Corinth. And he had been told by the oracle that it was his own fate to kill his own father and marry his mother. Ew.
Yeah.
He, like Laius, was not about to bend to the prophecy, so he decided to never return to Corinth. So he set out to make a new life as a hero. On his trip, he went to Thebes, and there he was ambushed by the Sphinx, who told him her riddle.
What creature goes on 4 feet in the morning, 2 feet in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening?
Oedipus
Oedipus was constipated.
Contemplated the question for a minute and then gave his answer.
Man, as a child, he crawls on all 4s. As an adult, he walks on 2. And in the twilight of his life, he uses a cane.
3.
With
her riddle beat, the Sphinx jumped off the cliff to her death.
Oh no, I must die.
That seems a bit harsh. Why don't you just fly away, go back to Egypt? One version says she strangled herself to death. Interestingly, because the word Sphinx was derived from the ancient Greek word for strangle.
Gonna put you in a Sphinx hold.
The sphincter.
The sphincter hold.
After the beast was slain, after she committed suicide, the people of Thebes rejoiced. They invited Oedipus into their city to be their king. Seeing as how the old king had recently been killed, he accepted and even took the Queen Jocasta as his wife. They fell in love and they had some children together. Then they lived happily ever after. That's it. Disney
That's it.
movie style.
End of the
That's
story.
that's the story.
We're gonna roll the credits. It's been fun, everybody.
No more horrible.
Happy ending.
If only they would have cut it there.
If only. Yeah.
If
If only.
only. Many a years later, when their sons had grown into men, a great plague fell upon Thebes. It was wiping out everything. People, birds, crops, everything.
Everything.
Vaginas, sphincters.
Sphincters.
Everything.
There were sphinxes jumping off cliffs.
Anyone who didn't die from the disease was left to slowly starve to death. Oedipus was a good king, and he cared for his people more than anything, so it destroyed him to see them all suffer. He sent his wife Jocasta's brother, his wife's brother, that was really weird, sorry, to Delphi, to the good old oracle, because everyone loves that fucking oracle, man.
Yeah. Can't get enough oracle. And it's funny, too, because they openly talk shit on the oracle through most of the story. They're like, can't trust a prophecy. Prophecies are shit. I beat them.
Go
I need a new prophecy. Can you go to the oracle for me?
Thanks.
Where are you going? To the 7-Eleven? Can you stop by on the oracle on the way back and see what's going to happen?
When he returned, he had some good news for them. Apollo would get rid of the plague if they found the man who murdered the old king Laius. Oedipus was stoked. He knew that even after all that time had passed, finding a killer would not be that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably dead amongst the plague, right?
Yeah,
you would think.
But also, I mean, and it's funny because solving a cold case does sound like such a big thing to have to do.
Yeah.
But in comparison to some of the tasks that are given out in Greek mythology, it's like,
that's like the easiest thing to do.
I want to stay at your house, and they're like, cool, slay 1,000 lions.
Ooh.
Oh, fuck.
Shit. He yelled out to everyone gathered. Oedipus did, by the way.
No. Let no one in this land give him shelter. Bar him from your homes. He is defiled. And I pray to the gods that whoever this man is, he live out the rest of his days in suffering.
Thanks.
Thanks, yeah.
Oedipus was on it. He sent his best men out to search the roads, and he called for the blind prophet, Teresa? Mother
Teresa? The blind prophet Teresa? Teresa?
Teresia.
Terestia.
Who knew all? Not the oracle, but just a blind prophet.
Yeah.
I bet you that's not what that bitch was named after in Fable.
Yeah. No, probably.
She's a blind prophet.
Blind prophet.
Anyway.
Yeah. Just a traveling prophet. Like, we don't have time to go to the oracle. Can we just hit up the traveling prophet?
Yeah, send her this way, please. Thank you.
Yeah, send the prophet over here.
Oedipus asked her who the killer was. But surprisingly, she would not answer.
Oh, he was a dude.
Oh, excuse me, dude.
Did I say she in there?
I don't know. You called the oracle a he in there early on, so
Did
I just assumed it was just a mistake. So,
I'm not assigning gender roles to oracles here.
Usually they were female.
They were. Yeah.
Yeah.
The prophet though, the prophet was an old man.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oedipus yelled at him.
By the gods, man, tell me who it was. If you know, please tell me.
To which the old man replies,
Fools! I will never answer, and trust me when I say you don't want to know.
Mm-mm. The prophet refused to tell
It
them.
almost sounded like Walter Cronkite. I'm Walter Cronkite, and I will be bringing you your prophecy.
The prophet refused to tell them until it got to the point that Oedipus started to accuse him of being part of the murders. Finally, he relented and told Oedipus. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. I was looking at the name. I'm like,
Yeah. There's an O in front of Oedipus, so
Yeah,
sometimes
okay.
it does throw you off. You're like, oh, you did, no, Oedipus.
That's why I called him Orpheus.
Orpheus, yeah.
Okay, so finally he relented and told Oedipus that he was in fact the killer. Oedipus scoffed at the idea. He kicked the prophet out of Thebes and told him to never return.
Be gone, Walter Cronkite.
Jocasta also thought he was full of shit. She told Oedipus,
Listen, honey, prophets are just as bad as oracles. They're always full of shit. Did I ever tell you about the time an oracle told my ex-husband that he would be killed by his son? Pretty funny, right? We took our son out to the mountain and left him to die. That's a pretty funny story, right? Yeah, so no prophecy there. Plus, Laos was killed by bandits where the three roads meet coming from Delphi, so there's no way the prophecy could have ever come true.
So Oedipus was put off by her remark and gave her a very strange look, then asked her,
Wait, he got killed where the three roads meet? When did this happen? Oh, it happened right before you came to Thebes. Like, coincidentally, it's almost surprising you didn't run into him on the road. How many of them were with them? There were 5, but only one survived. Why do you ask?
Oedipus now looked very upset, and he told Jocasta his story. He said,
So, you kinda need to know how I came to Thebes? A man in Corinth told me that King Polybus was not my real father. So I went to an oracle, it's kind of the thing to do. And she wouldn't give me a yes or no. Instead, she told me a very dark prophecy that I would one day kill my father, then marry my mother. And, just some shit about how our children would make people shudder with disgust for the rest of their existence. So I was reasonably a little pissed off, a little upset, and on the way home, on the travels, some asshole with 4 friends tried to push me off the road, so I kind of road raged and killed him and 3 of his friends and injured the other guy. Is it possible that was your king?
Jocasta was taken aback by his remark, but she kept insisting that it couldn't have been him, because it had to have been bandits. As they were talking, a messenger arrived from Corinth. He brought news of the death of Polybus. Jocasta used the opportunity to talk a little bit more shit on the prophecy, saying,
See, I told you all prophecies and prophets and oracles are full of shit. You were supposed to kill your father Polybus, but yet here you are with me as we hear of his death. Isn't that pretty funny? That's my father's death.
The messenger, who had been very close friend to King Polybus, overheard what they were saying and then spoke up.
Oh, so you left Corinthus to not murder your father, eh? Oh, I totally wish you would have told me that, kid. Polybus was never in danger. He wasn't your real papa. I brought you to him as a baby, after I got you from a shepherd. I believe the shepherd even worked here for King Learus.
Hearing that, Jocasta turned white. She begged Oedipus to quit asking questions and just forget about it. Just forget about it.
Just forget about it.
But he refused. He had to know his true lineage. Jocasta could hear no more, and she ran away back into her room. As they were talking, the messenger spotted the very same shepherd that he had gotten from the baby and called him over. The messenger brought up the baby from way back in the day.
Oh, you remember that, eh? When I brought you that baby?
Oh, you're Canadian, eh?
Hey, I'm a Canadian messenger all the way from Corinth.
Yeah.
Corinth,
Anyway.
Canada.
He told the shepherd that the king that stands before him was the baby grown. Ew.
Yeah.
The shepherd went green with disgust. Oedipus tried to pry the information about who his parents were from the shepherd, but the shepherd refused to talk. Eventually, Oedipus got so mad that he threatened to torture the old shepherd, and so finally the shepherd spoke up.
All right, don't hurt me. I did give you to him, but please don't make me say the rest. Just figure it out on your own, man. I don't want to have to say it directly. Disturbing. Damn it, old man! Tell me! All right, you might want to ask your wife. Was her that gave you to me. Said I was supposed to kill you. Something about a prophecy? Said you'd kill your pa. I didn't want to say it, kid. Why'd you make me say that you're fucking your mother?
Oedipus screamed in horror, finally realizing what had happened. He rushed to find his wife mom, Jocasta, and ask her if it was true. But when he got to her chamber, he found her hanging. When she realized the truth, she couldn't take it and killed herself. Kneeling beside her body, he reached into the fire and grabbed a hot poker, saying,
I feel guilty about that last womp womp. Now shall my light be turned to darkness, for I am accursed.
Then he jammed the hot poker into his eyes, blinding himself forever. But this isn't the end of his story, but the end of today's story. So we'll cover more about his life later when we get into the story of Antigone.
Antigone and the Seven against Thebes.
Thank you.
Thought I'd help you out there.
I was like, Antigone?
Antigone? Yo, where's Antigone at?
7.
Yeah. Yeah, this...
So, Oedipus, the first literal motherfucker.
The first motherfucker. Yeah. This is a pretty burly story, so...
Hoped you didn't enjoy it too much.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode, but you're not like...
I love this story. It's a great story. I can't wait to tell my kids.
Okay.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. Oof.
Don't.
Ah.
Wait till they're older and they can hear this shit. Older. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. The sources. Our book, Mythology, Timeless Tales of Gods and Heroes, by Edith Hamilton. I love this book. I also went straight to the OG for the
Cliff
play.
Notes.
I read some of the play by Sophocles, motherfucking Sophocles, which made me wonder if Tyrannosaurus Rex was supposed to be Oedipus, because it was originally called Oedipus Rex or Oedipus Tyrannus. So Oedipus Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes, he's a T-Rex. Yeah. Well, folks,
stubby forearms running.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it.
I hope that's how he ran too.
Oh.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
All that good
Hit
stuff.
Hit a notification bell if you want.
Yeah.
Not really sure it does anything.
Yeah. I want to take a second to say a huge shout out, huge thank you to all of the listeners out there across the world.
Yeah, thank you.
Very excited. Glad you people are catching us in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Philippines. We love you guys. We are going to do some Filipino mythology.
I love some good Filipino food too.
Yeah, because yes, it is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye.